You are sitting on your sofa, perhaps enjoying a quiet evening, when you see it. Your cat has jumped onto the coffee table. They aren't interested in the remote, and they don't want to nap. Instead, they walk slowly toward your favorite glass of water. They stop. They look you dead in the eye with an expression that can only be described as calculated, cold-blooded intent. Then, with a slow, deliberate movement of their paw, they tap the glass. Once, twice, and then, with one final, graceful shove, they send it plunging toward the floor. Why? Why do they do this? Is it a deep-seated desire for chaos? Is it a lack of respect for gravity? Or is your cat actually a tiny, furry physicist performing experiments on the structural integrity of your glassware? For years, cat owners have joked that if the Earth were truly flat, cats would have pushed everything off the edge by now. But recently, animal behaviorists and scientists have finally cracked the code. There is a deeply rooted evolutionary reason for this seemingly rude behavior, and today we are going to dive into the feline mind to explain exactly why your cat is obsessed with knocking your stuff off tables. We are jumping right into the scientific truth behind the gravity-defying antics of our favorite household predators. To understand why a cat knocks something down, you first have to look at their hardware. Cats are not just pets. They are highly specialized hunting machines. Every fiber of their being is designed to detect, stalk, and capture prey. Their paws are incredibly sensitive tools, packed with nerve endings that allow them to feel the slightest vibration or texture. When a cat taps an object on your table, they aren't just being annoying. They are performing a tactile assessment. In the wild, if a cat finds something that looks like it might be edible, say, a large beetle or a small rodent that is playing still, the cat will bat at it to see if it moves. This play is actually a hunting tactic. If the object moves or scurries after being tapped, the predatory drive kicks in. When your cat bats at your car keys or a pen, they are essentially checking to see if that object is alive. Since your pen doesn't run away, the cat gives it a harder shove just to be sure. The fall from the table to the floor is the ultimate test. If it doesn't move after hitting the ground, the cat concludes the prey is caught. You see a mess on the rug. Your cat sees a successful hunt of an inanimate object. But there is a second, much more manipulative reason for this behavior, and it involves you. Cats are masters of cause and effect, and they are world-class observers of human behavior. Have you ever noticed that your cat rarely knocks things off the counter when you are in the other room or fast asleep? Most of the time, this behavior happens right when you are present. Why? Because it works. Imagine you are working on your laptop, ignoring your cat. The cat meows. You don't look up. The cat rubs against your leg. You pat them absent-mindedly but keep working. Then, the cat jumps on the desk and sends a stapler flying. Suddenly you gasp, you jump up, you look at the cat, and you probably say something like, "No, stop that." To a cat, this is a massive victory. They have successfully summoned their giant human servant. It doesn't matter if you are scolding them. To a cat, negative attention is still attention. They have learned that gravity is a shortcut to your brain. You have accidentally trained your cat to be a vandal by reacting every time they drop something. They have figured out exactly which items produce the loudest noise and the fastest human response. Scientists call this attention-seeking behavior. But in the feline world, it's more like a strategic negotiation. If the food bowl is half empty or the litter box isn't to their liking, the cat knows that a crash in the kitchen is the fastest way to get you into the room to investigate. They are using the environment to communicate their needs. It is effective, it is efficient, and it is incredibly frustrating for us. However, there is an even deeper psychological layer to this. Cats living in an indoor environment often suffer from a lack of mental stimulation. In the wild, a cat would spend hours a day calculating jumps, tracking movements, and interacting with a complex world. In a house, life can get a bit stagnant. Knocking something off a table creates an immediate, exciting event. The object moves through the air. It makes a sound. It might even shatter or roll. It provides sensory feedback that breaks the boredom of a quiet afternoon. It is essentially a feline version of a video game. Let's talk about the physics of the paw shove. Researchers have noted that cats have varying degrees of commitment to the task. Some use a quick, playful flick, while others use a slow, agonizing push that lasts several seconds. This slow push is particularly interesting to animal behaviorists. It suggests a level of curiosity about the trajectory of the object. There is evidence that cats are fascinated by the sound an object makes when it hits different surfaces. A plastic cap hitting a hardwood floor sounds different than a glass hitting a tile. By experimenting with different objects, the cat is learning about the acoustics of their territory. They are mapping their world through sound and impact. It's not just about the fall, it's about the finale. But why the eye contact? This is the part that really gets to owners. The way a cat will pause, look right at you, and then slowly slide a glass off the edge is almost cinematic. This is a clear sign of social interaction. This isn't a cat hunting a mouse in the dark. This is a cat engaging with a social partner. They are checking to see if you are watching. They are monitoring your reaction. It is a form of checking in, to see what the boundaries of the household are. When they look at you, they are asking a silent question. What are you going to do about this? If you always jump up and provide food or play, you have answered the question with a resounding, "I will reward you." So, how do we fix this? Scientists suggest that the best way to handle a gravity-testing cat is to address the underlying causes. First, we have to look at environmental enrichment. If your cat is knocking things off tables because they are bored, you need to provide better outlets for their predatory drive. Puzzle feeders, feather wands, and interactive toys can give them that tactile feedback they crave without involving your heirloom vases. A cat that has spent 30 minutes hunting a toy is much less likely to go looking for trouble on your nightstand. You want to tire out their brain as much as their body. Second, we have to talk about the extinction of the behavior. This is a psychological term that basically means you have to stop rewarding the behavior. If your cat knocks something off a table and you immediately react, you are feeding the loop. The hardest but most effective thing to do is to ignore it. If something breaks, wait until the cat has left the room before you clean it up. Don't look at them, don't yell, and don't provide any engagement. If the cat realizes that knocking things off no longer produces a human reaction, the behavior will eventually lose its appeal. It takes time and nerves of steel, especially when your phone is the object in question, but it is the only way to break the association. Of course, ignoring a breaking glass is easier said than done. That brings us to prevention. High-value items should simply be kept out of reach or secured. There are museum waxes and adhesive putties that can keep knickknacks stuck to a surface. When a cat tries to shove an object and it doesn't budge, it ruins the hunt. The lack of movement makes the object uninteresting. Most cats will try a few times and then give up once they realize the prey is bolted to the table. You are essentially outsmarting their hunting instincts by making your valuables extra dead in their eyes. Another factor scientists have identified is the pouch or pocket of the home. Cats have a natural instinct to clear off high surfaces to make room for themselves. In the wild, a leopard or a lynx needs a clear vantage point to scan for danger or prey. If a surface is cluttered with bottles, glasses, and books, the cat sees these as obstacles in their nest. By knocking them off, they are simply cleaning their lookout tower. They want a flat, stable place to sit where they can see the whole room. If you provide your cat with dedicated high zones, like a wall-mounted shelf or a tall cat tree that is kept perfectly clear, they might feel less compelled to clear off your desk. They just want a penthouse view, and your stuff is in the way. It is also worth mentioning that some cats are more prone to this than others. Breeds that are known for being highly intelligent or highly active, like Bengals, Abyssinians, or Siamese, tend to be the most frequent gravity testers. These cats have a higher mental load and require more interaction. If you have a high-energy cat, you are living with a tiny scientist who needs a full-time lab. If you don't provide the lab, your entire house becomes the experiment. Understanding the personality of your specific cat can help you predict when a vandalism spree might be coming. Interestingly, researchers have also found a link between hunger and this behavior. A hungry cat is an active hunter. If their dinner is late, their predatory instincts are dialed up to 10. This is when they are most likely to perceive your pen as a mouse or your keys as a bird. Keeping a consistent feeding schedule can help lower the hunting heat in your cat's brain. Some owners find success with automatic feeders that dispense small amounts of food throughout the day, keeping the cat's stomach and mind occupied so they don't have to go hunting on the coffee table. But let's look at the fun side of this. While it can be annoying, there is something deeply impressive about the dexterity of a cat's paw. They can differentiate between a light touch and a steady shove. They can manipulate objects with a level of precision that few other animals can match. By watching your cat knock something down, you are actually witnessing millions of years of predatory evolution refined into a single gesture. It is a display of spatial awareness, muscle control, and cognitive mapping. Your cat is using their environment as a tool for communication and entertainment. In a way, it shows just how much they have adapted to living with humans. They have hacked our social system. Scientists have also investigated whether this behavior is learned from other cats. While much of it is instinctive, kittens who watch their mothers get attention by knocking things down are more likely to adopt the habit. It becomes a cultural trait within a household. If you have one cat who is a veteran object shover, don't be surprised if your new kitten picks up the hobby within a few weeks. It's part of the feline curriculum of how to manage your human. There is also a tactile pleasure involved. Some materials feel good to a cat's paw. Smooth glass, cool metal, or even the crinkle of paper provide different sensory rewards. Pushing these things off a table gives the cat a variety of textures to explore. It's a form of environmental enrichment that they create for themselves. To us, it looks like destruction. To them, it's a sensory spa day. One interesting study used high-speed cameras to track the eye movements of cats while they were interacting with objects on a ledge. The researchers found that the cats were incredibly focused on the point of impact. They weren't just looking at the object. They were anticipating where it would land. This supports the idea that they are practicing their depth perception and impact timing. These are skills a cat would use in the wild to intercept a bird in midair or a rodent leaping from a burrow. Your dining table is effectively a training ground for a biological warrior. But what about the cats that do it and then look surprised? We've all seen the videos of a cat knocking something down and then jumping back in shock at the noise. This suggests that sometimes the curiosity gets the better of them. They want to see what happens, but they aren't always prepared for the consequence. This startled response shows that even for a highly evolved predator, the world is still full of surprises. It reminds us that despite their poker face, cats are also sensitive and sometimes clumsy creatures who are just trying to figure things out. There is also a theory regarding territorial marking. Cats have scent glands in their paws. Every time they bat an object or shove it across a table, they are leaving behind their unique scent. They are essentially putting their stamp on your belongings. This glass belongs to me, this remote belongs to me, and now this floor belongs to me. By moving objects around, they are rearranging their territory to suit their preferences. It is about control. In a world where we control when they eat and when the lights go out, knocking a glass of water off a table is a cat's way of asserting their own agency. But perhaps the most heartwarming explanation, if you can call it that, is that it is a form of play that involves us. Despite their reputation for being solitary and aloof, cats are deeply social with their chosen humans. They want to interact with us. They don't have hands to pull on our sleeves, and they don't have voices to ask for a game. They use what they have, their environment. When a cat knocks something down and you walk over, even if you are grumbling, you are close to them. You are in their space. For some cats, a 5-minute scolding session is better than 5 hours of being alone. They are willing to trade your disapproval for your proximity. So how do we live with these tiny vandals? The key is empathy and redirection. Instead of getting angry, we should ask ourselves, what is my cat trying to tell me? Is the bowl empty? Is the litter box dirty? Have I played with them today? Most of the time, the gravity experiment is a symptom of a larger need. If you fulfill those needs before the paw reaches the glass, you can maintain a much more peaceful household. It's about being as good an observer of your cat as they are of you. Think of your home from a cat's perspective. It is a static, unchanging cave. The furniture stays in the same place, the walls don't move, and the prey, their food, is usually served in the same spot. To a predator, this is unnaturally still. By knocking things down, the cat is activating the cave. They are making the environment dynamic. They are making things happen. It's a sign of a healthy, active mind that wants to engage with the world. We should celebrate that intelligence, even if we have to do it while holding a dustpan and brush. We should also consider how much we've influenced this behavior through our phones. In the modern world, many of us spend hours staring at a small screen in our hands. To a cat, that phone is a rival for your attention. Scientists have noted that cats will often target the very objects that we use most. If you are constantly holding your phone or your remote, the cat identifies those as high-value attention targets. By knocking your phone off the arm of the chair, they are literally removing the competition. Don't look at that glowing box, they are saying. Look at me. There is a certain beauty in the cat's logic. It is simple, effective, and results-oriented. They want attention, they want to hunt, or they want space. And gravity is a universal law that never fails them. It is perhaps the only thing in their lives that is 100% predictable. They can always count on things falling down. In a confusing world of human rules and strange machines, gravity is a reliable friend. In conclusion, your cat isn't a jerk. They aren't trying to ruin your day or destroy your property out of malice. They are a complex creature with deep evolutionary drives, a high level of intelligence, and an incredible ability to learn how to manipulate their environment and their humans. They are hunting, they are communicating, they are learning, and yes, they are probably a little bit bored. By understanding the why behind the shove, we can stop taking it personally. We can provide better toys, clearer high spaces, and more consistent attention, leading to a home where the only things on the floor are the cat's actual toys. Next time you see that paw start to slowly slide toward the edge of the table, don't scream, don't run over. Instead, take a deep breath. Recognize that you are witnessing a million-year-old predatory ritual. And then, once the object has safely landed and the cat has wandered off, maybe consider buying some of that museum wax. Or better yet, go find the feather wand and give your tiny physicist the hunt they were actually looking for. Your cat's behavior is a window into their wild past and their social present. It is one of the many things that make living with a cat an endless, often messy, but always fascinating adventure. Everything we learn about cats reminds us that they are still semi-wild animals living in a modern world. They have one foot in the jungle and one foot on your high pile rug. When these two worlds collide, usually on the corner of a coffee table, it creates a moment of friction that we find annoying but they find essential. Respect the predator, understand the scientist, and love the companion. And maybe, just maybe, keep your water glass in a travel mug with a lid. It's a small price to pay for the company of a creature that has mastered the art of getting exactly what they want, one falling object at a time. The science is in, and the verdict is clear. Your cat is smart, they are observant, and they are definitely in charge. Understanding that is the first step toward a peaceful coexistence with the most deliberate gravity testers on the planet. Keep your eyes open, your valuables secured, and your sense of humor intact. After all, in a world full of predictability, a cat with a paw on a ledge is the ultimate reminder to stay on your toes. Your cat isn't just knocking things off. They are making sure you are still paying attention to the wonders and the occasional crashes of life in their territory.